Florida Representative Byron Donalds. He is also a surrogate for the Trump campaign. Representative Donalds, thank you for being with us this morning. So the proceedings now will be getting underway, and we'll be following that throughout the morning. First of all, your response to the former president's reaction there as he enters the court. No case. It's an outrage and an assault on America. Care to add to that?
Well, first, President Trump is absolutely correct. This is a case where the former district attorney in New York decided not to bring it. This is also a situation where the Federal Election Commission said there was nothing to see here. So for Alvin Bragg to try to dig out some case so he can get his name ID up so he could potentially run for the governor of New York at some point in the future is outrageous, and it's a misuse of the justice system in our country. Compare that with the other fact that crimes in New York to this day are not prosecuted, where New Yorkers are being assaulted, they're being robbed, and people are being let go immediately. They're not bringing charges, yet he finds time to bring this blatant political prosecution against a former president. And the only reason is because, in my view, and the same view of the president, number one, Alvin Bragg wants to make himself more important politically. But number two, that this is a coordination from the Democrat Party and Joe Biden, because the Biden administration has been a disaster on every front, and they can't beat Donald Trump in a fair political fight. So they're using the justice system to go after President Trump.
So he's going to have to juggle being inside the courtroom and out on the campaign trail. Surrogates like yourself and others will have to step up. How big of an impact will it have on the campaign to not have him out there stumping for votes and for financial donations?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to backfire to a large degree. The American people understand when something is legitimate, when something is fair, and when somebody basically has an axe to grind. And this is nothing more than a political axe to grind from the radical left and Joe Biden. So I think that him not being able to do as many rallies, people are going to understand that part, and they're going to definitely know why, because the news media is going to love nothing more than to cover this 24/7. Number two, when it comes to raising dollars, the Trump campaign is still on target to raise the campaign cash that is necessary to wage a significant campaign against Joe Biden. All you have to do is look back at the $50 million fundraiser from the other day at Mar-a-Lago. So I think the third piece really is looking at the state of our country. The American people understand that we need a change. And when they look at the fact that Donald Trump is being brought up on these stupid trials, these things that make no sense, where you have judges who also are politically motivated. I mean, Judge Merchan, he put a gag order because he doesn't want Donald Trump talking about the fact that his family is making money off of Democrat political operations. That's a clear conflict of interest. He should recuse himself, but he's not doing so. So I think the gross unfairness, coupled with the fact that Joe Biden remains the master of disaster when it comes to what's happening domestically in America, and as well as foreign policy-wise with America, I think the voters of our country are still going to want Donald Trump back in the White House, despite the terrible circus they're witnessing in Manhattan today.
Well, the wheels of justice turn very slowly. And even though the former president says this case should have, if ever, been brought years ago, is a political prosecution now, a persecution now. I'm wondering, though, with something like 7 out of 10 registered voters in New York being Democrat, how optimistic are you that the former president gets a fair trial and an impartial jury in New York?
Well, listen, I'm not terribly optimistic because it's not just about New York. It's about Manhattan itself. In Manhattan, President Trump won 12% of the vote. And you could tell by the jury questionnaire that Alvin Bragg is trying to make sure to get rid of anybody who even decides that they want to look at a social media post from President Trump, or they might watch Fox News, or frankly, may even watch NewsNation, and somebody who's not just bought in the tank of watching MSNBC or something like that. They're trying to get rid of those people out of the jury pool right now as we speak. So it's very, very difficult. So my appeal to the residents of Manhattan is we all have our politics. We all have our viewpoints, but Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. It's not a respecter of persons or politicians. You're supposed to look at the evidence and look at the facts. And when you look at this terrible case, there is no crime. Even in the indictment, there is no underlying crime that Alvin Bragg speaks to that would give him the ability to turn, at the most, misdemeanors into felonies. There is no underlying crime. It's made up out of thin air. And so my hope is that the jury pool that actually looks at this case realizes that this is nothing more than election interference.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.